Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bria, and this is Rise with Bria. If you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you like this video. Also, if you're new here, this channel, I'm trying to hone in on my focus, but the main focus of this channel is talking about emotional health and wellness and just going on a journey. Myself, I am going on a journey, and hopefully you can come along with me and we can walk together. When you shed the expectations that are set just inherently, historically, they're set for you. When you step into any role, a role into your job, the person before you, they were their own version of what that person was supposed to be and was supposed to do. Obviously, there's written things that you need to get done, and there's certain things that you need to do every day in that position. But overall, you make up whoever you want to be, however you want to present yourself. And that is, bringing your own stuff to the table. If you know that this role is supposed to be built out a certain way, and that applies to every single role in life, whether you're the eldest daughter, I'm the middle daughter of, two brothers, and there's an unspoken role of being one, the only girl, and two, older sibling to someone. So there's a protectiveness that you're supposed to have. There's a forgiveness that you're supposed to have. There's a patience that you're supposed to have. And if you don't have those things, those expected ways to step into that role, then you feel like a failure because you're having your own human experience and you're having your own situation outside of that relationship where you're supposed to show up a certain way. You're supposed to. And you have to take a step back and say, wait, who made these rules? Because I understand that we all set expectations interrelationally, husband and wife. That is something that you sit down and you say, hey, this is how I want our marriage to work. This is how I want to show up for you. This is how I want you to show up for me. We talk about all of these things, or we should be talking about all these things within a romantic relationship, right? But when it comes to being a mom, being a sister, being a daughter, being a brother, being a husband, being a son, these aren't things that we actually talk through with the people that we are in relationship with. And it's a long-term thing, those roles. And there's a lot of expectations along the way. And there's a lot of unspoken expectations along the way. And so you are just supposed to show up as this person that you might not fit the mold of, and not to say that you can't be that person. You completely can. But I feel like, and this whole conversation is making room outside of expectations. That's why we have to shed them. We have to shed them. We put that pressure on ourselves. And in turn, we allow other people to put the same pressures on us. Oh, you should be this way. You should show up this way. You should care more. Why don't you care more? Well, how about you don't know the background of our situation? You don't know that I'm in therapy. You don't know that I have been caused harm by this relationship or this situation. And I am trying to heal and recover, and I'm responding to things in my own way. Not everyone is going to ask you why. Not everyone is going to care, to be honest. But that is where you come in, where you ask yourself why, and you care, and you figure out Why is it that I respond to this outside of what I'm expected to respond to it? I hope that makes sense, because when we put these expectations on ourselves and we don't perform, we are so scared. We put ourselves in such a place of fear because we feel like we're letting ourselves down. And when you feel like you're letting yourself down, it really is a reflection of how you feel externally, that you're letting everyone else down. You're supposed to be this person. I was supposed to show up and be strong. I was supposed to be super mom. When you set the bar so high because you think that other people are setting that bar so high for you, and maybe they are. Who cares though? You set your own standards for how you show up. Only you know your capacity. Only you know the history around anything, the reason around anything. And it is your responsibility, if you don't know, to figure it out so that you can create levels and boundaries and you can flow in a way that works for you. You don't have to have a bar to reach every time when it comes to expectations. You don't have to fit in a box of what it means to be this person for someone. You have the responsibility to figure out what that looks like for you and why, and how you can show up as yourself every single day. How can I shed what is expected of me? How can I create my own expectations and my own boundaries and my own internalize and create positivity for yourself, and let go of what anybody else might think. Because everyone's going to always have an opinion. Anyone looking at you, you can expect the worst also. You can expect people to have the worst opinions of you. But guess what? Most of the time, people don't care. Most of the time, people are wrapped up in their own stuff, their own problems. They're trying to figure out how to perform. They're trying to figure out how to, fit into a mold. That's not for you to be concerned with. You think that because everyone's trying to fit in the mold themselves, that they are comparing you to see if you fit. They're looking at you to see if you fit in that mold. See how you're doing. That's not your problem. Because we're measuring with two different. I'm measuring with a measuring cup and you're measuring with a ruler. Like, no. There's no comparison. So to know that is to be at peace with everyone having a different path, and being at peace with knowing that you're on your own path to figure out your own path. So let go, shed that expectation, shed what it is that you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to be at in your life, how you're supposed to be a good wife, how you're supposed to be a good husband. And you can actually communicate to the people in your life and say, hey, how is it that I can be a better sister to you? I really am trying to figure out how to show up for you. Take the time, journal it out, or have a conversation. All that extra stuff, shed it. Shed it. You don't need it. You really don't need to put that extra pressure on yourself. It makes life heavy. It adds another layer of the heaviness that is already existing in our society. You don't need to do it to yourself. Let's not add. Let's take away. Let's take away that pressure. And guess what? When you take that pressure off of yourself, you take the pressure off of everyone around you. Not to say that you will lower your expectations for other people, but you're not going to be so disappointed and have such an idea of how someone should be and how someone should show up in your life. It is what it is. It really is what it is. Like, either you're working toward something, you're working toward yourself, and you're working toward being a good person and being a present person, whatever it is that you're trying to do, that's going to show up, regardless of the expectations. Just know that they're trying within their capacities. But you have to shut those expectations because you will be disappointed every single time in yourself and in other people. So I really just wanted to get that message out there for myself, for anyone who needed to hear that. Like, we all need to hear that every now and then. So, just a reminder, just let it go, just shut it. And we will continue conversations like this on my channel. So if you like this conversation, once again, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video. And with that, I will leave you guys. But thank you so much for watching and have a good night and a good day. Bye.